I try to lie to myself that, well, I find stillness in activity. But actually, I think I'm terrified of stillness, right? Like I'm terrified of sitting with me sometimes. And that's kind of in the work I do, here's what's crazy. You're going to love this. I use that line on coaches and players. I use it like, one of the most dangerous, a lot of the ills in the world are the result of a dude can't sit with himself and his thoughts. And I'm telling others this truth, and I can't sit with me very long. I got to be, I'll go out, I'll go on a walk, and I'm saying, no, my son needed me to go play. I needed to be on, I'll go do 3 more tweets because that's what we need to. If I just sat down, like I can nap. Now, don't get me wrong, I can nap with the best of them. My wife will tell you that. Like, what are you talking about? You nap? You take 2 naps a day. I think that might just be from end of capacity, right? I think that might just be work to empty, and then back to let's go.
And thank you for naming that. Like here's what people talk to me about. They don't sleep well. I have empathy, but I have no understanding of that.
Yes.
Because right? if I sit right now in this moment, if I just sit here about 35 seconds with my eyes closed, my head will hit this computer. I will be knocked out. Like I'll fall asleep at any given moment. You just give me enough. I don't even need quiet. I've fallen asleep at Burning Man before. So I can fall asleep in the middle of absolute madness, but I don't give myself a chance to slow down enough. So I'm just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, do. Like the guys in the gym who are always in the gym, because it's like this idea of I stay busy, then no one can call me lazy. No one can think I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I was a fear of failure, so I don't want to fail, so I'm going to work harder than anybody else. I've heard Kobe say, you better work harder than anybody else. You better die on the treadmill. And you take these images and these messages from these people in pop culture, and you wear them because you have heard that that's the only way to get ahead. And I think that there's always both sides, and sometimes people don't give themselves the other side, right? I think we never hear any of these professional people talk about taking naps, and maybe a few of them do when they're already famous and they're now reflecting back on their life after with their jets and their helicopters, and they're like, oh yeah, I took a nap once. I of course I have to get my muscles rest, like that's after, right? But while they're in the flow and the run of the stuff, sometimes they almost seem superhuman, which is ironic, and so therefore you say, how can I ever do that?
Right.
How can I? And comparison is a thief of all happiness.
Yes.
So therefore, if I'm listening to their most aggressive messages about work hard ethic all the time, never rest, don't ever give up, then I could also use that to a detriment.
Doesn't that speak a little bit too and I talk about this too, and like you said, this is me while I'm trying to help others do better than I do. There's a nuance to being an adult, right? And sometimes I think the celebrity quick hits, or even the mantras that I tried to establish as a coach, because you walk into any team room in America in any sport, there's some board poster, something that's narrowed down the lived experience into a phrase. And that's easy because you can latch onto it. But really in life, it's nuance, right? Like sometimes the Mamba mentality on the treadmill, maybe I need that for about 7 minutes. But if I live that, I'm going to exhaust myself. But when you were talking, I was thinking the other day, men, and we'd like to be protectors. Coaches, we'd like to be protectors, right? But if we don't do this rest work, which you and I both admitted we're horrible at, we're terrible at it, then we're not protecting our loved ones from ourselves. The first person that might damage them the heaviest as their coach, if I show up out of capacity in my past role to a practice and I'm overstressed, overtaxed because I kept the film on till 3 a.m. I got up at 5 a.m. I did more, I did all these things that I convinced myself is what Coach K would have done. And that's why he won all the championships. Not that he had 7 NBA draft picks on his roster, right? It's the work. But if I show up exhausted and a young man comes in, I have zero capacity for what I normally would. And now I blow up and I drop F-bombs and I say all these horrible things to him. And I've just destroyed our relationship, which I probably could do too at my house. Now I say all these things knowing full well that's the recipe to being better, is refueling capacity, giving yourself a chance. And I'm still bad at it. I'm still horrible at it, right? I'm like, okay, you did a walk today. You did do a walk today. You listened to a podcast and you zoned out. That was your rest. That's what you get. Now go back to work.